Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the channel with Martin. And today, the story I'm sharing is once again for our more senior listeners, and the topic of today's talk is when you're older, you should let go of the following things so that your heart can be peaceful and happy. The truth is, we should remember this. When we are on a long journey, we have to carry on our back a backpack or shoulder a very heavy load. If we only walk for a little while, we'll start to feel our legs get tired, right? After just 2 kilometers, your legs already feel tired. At 3 kilometers, you feel like you're about to collapse. At 4 kilometers, it feels so difficult to walk anymore. Many people complain, saying, "Oh my goodness, it's too heavy. This load on my shoulders is so heavy." I often give this advice as we travel on the journey of life. From time to time, we should know when to stop and put the load that we're carrying on our shoulders down on the ground. Then we should sit and check to see if there's anything we can throw away to lessen the burden, to make the load lighter. For example, when we're moving from a house in area A to area B, 4 or 5 kilometers away, it's a heavy task we have to carry, to haul, to bear the weight. At first, we might think, oh well, since we're at it anyway, let's just grab the worn out broom, the old rags, the dented pot, the broken chair, and even the burnt out light bulb, a worn out broom, old rags way. Take them all. But along the way, it gets too heavy, so we put the load down. We realize, oh, I don't need this anymore. Let's throw it away. If I can, I'll buy a new one later. Why carry it and weigh myself down? A little while later, we might think, these floor rags, I'll just get new ones when I get there. I'll get new rags for the new house. Why even bother getting rid of an old rag? What's the point? It's a process of purification. Life's journey is just like that. Every once in a while, we have to pause and we have to let go of some things. For what? So that by the end of our lives, the lighter our load, the better. The fewer things we hold in our hearts, the better. You see? The reason we feel so exhausted is that we're clinging to too much. We hoard everything. We don't let anything go, so it becomes heavy. A heaviness from our thoughts to our very souls. And then, when it's time for us to depart this world, we will find it so hard to be at peace. So, here are the things that we should release and let go of. First thing is to let go of resentment toward others. Honestly, looking back at our lives, there are times we still remember being kids and being furious at that neighbor kid who did us wrong in this way or that way. From our school days, we might still remember hating a desk mate because he spoke to the teacher about us cheating on a test, leading the teacher to call us in for discipline and a lecture. And all that, or maybe we still resent a first love who promised us that we'd get married one day, but after only 1 year of dating, she looked down on us for being poor and moved on to love some new guy who just came back from abroad, for instance. If we keep hoarding all of those bitter memories, then at the end of our lives, when we count them up and find we have dozens of people worth hating, then who is the one suffering? It's us, who occasionally keep summarizing it all, remembering the time at work, remembering that deputy manager, that guy who played dirty, that guy who was mean, or that colleague who was so cruel and sneaky. They might have done it and then simply forgotten, while we are the ones who remember it forever. It's just like we are holding poison inside our own bodies, right there in our mouths. And that poison just keeps slowly seeping deep into our system. And the person who suffers the most is actually ourselves. Holding a grudge is like swallowing poison. It's exactly like drinking poison, but expecting the other person to die. If we drink the poison, we're the ones who die, not the other person. Just let it go, not for their sake, but for your own. They aren't worth it to occupy your mind, your thought, and your heart for that long. Those people just aren't worth it. People who were toxic, who were terrible. Those who betrayed you, who did you wrong. They need to be forgotten as quickly as possible. So, let me say it again. Please, let it go. Drop everything. If they played dirty, karma will handle them. If they weren't good to you, they'll get what's coming to them. That's their business. We have no reason to keep them in our heads. So, let go of that resentment, okay? Secondly, let go of the sorrows from the past. Remember that our lives must have joy and sadness too, but we should try to hold on to the memories, only the beautiful moments of life, of the past. As for the sad stories, they must be closed. People always say, we should close the door on the past to open up the future, right? The past is already gone. The future is what lies ahead. Live in the moment and look toward the future. Every now and then, look back at the past for a bit, but only to remember the beautiful memories. Look at it this way. Every stage of history has both its bad and good sides. But usually, in history, or in movies, or in works of art, in literature, when talking about a certain period, people always praise the good things, deeply human values, to give us a more optimistic outlook on life and the people around us. Always keep moving forward, okay. When talking about a historical period, people always praise the good, the beautiful, and the positive. And why is that? We should take those old stories and let them become lessons. They will turn into good things that serve our present and our future. Everyone has a past. We need to let go of the sorrows of the past and the happy memories. Just think of them as something that brightens our lives. They become the wisdom we carry with us. Sometimes we sit and reflect, and we just smile softly to ourselves. That's how we add more flavor and color to life, making it more joyful, right? So, the second thing we need to let go of is the pain from our past. The third thing we should let go of at our age is meaningless relationships. Meaningless means they truly don't matter. Honestly, when we look back on our lives, we have thousands of different connections. From school, we have schoolmates, then people our own age, our peers. At work, we have colleagues. In the army, we have our comrades. There are so many types of these fellows out there. Even when working far away, we meet people from the same hometown. Then we form hometown associations. But as we grow older, we should try to hold on to just a few loved ones. Parents, grandparents, relatives, spouses, children, and grandchildren. That's it, just a few close friends. Don't try to take on everything. We're older now. Why list one group after another, worrying about every club and participating in every single gathering? Even the ones that don't mean a thing. We shouldn't do that. Why waste our time on certain people? Why stay in a relationship that only makes us feel annoyed and frustrated? That just feels like a hassle. Who is forcing us to keep going, to maintain that kind of connection, right? No. Those relationships, if it's become meaningless, just let it go. Don't bother with it anymore. For instance, back when I used to work at a certain organization, it meant I could know hundreds of people in that office. But once it moved on to another job, perhaps there were only 10 or 5 or 7 people from the old workplace that I still stayed in touch with and maintained a connection. So that later, whether in times of joy or sorrow, we could still reach out to one another. and share. We shouldn't expect to hold on to every single relationship with all 100 people at that old office. Just as an example, or perhaps in the past, you were very close to someone, but now they've become a different person. They've changed so much. They have done things that have left you feeling deeply hurt. We must be ready to sacrifice those ties, to let them go, right? In this life, there are two types of relationships that I believe we should really try to keep. First is the fated relationship. Fated means it's ordained by heaven. It's the bond between parents and children. That is, we try our best to maintain the tie with those who gave us life, the bond with our parents and the people that we brought into this world. Only our parents and our children. They are our own flesh and blood, our kin. It's the bloodline. It's destiny. And the second type of relationship is the one built on deep loyalty and love. These are the people who aren't your blood relatives, but they live with you with true heart and devotion. That's a wife, a husband, your close comrades, your ride-or-die friends. Those friends who have stood the test of time, who have been through life and death, together until the end of our days. That's it. Don't hoard meaningless relationships for no reason. Don't be proud and say, "Oh, that person is so wet." Young folks today say if it's too broad, they won't engage with it at all. Listen, don't go around bragging about how many connections you have, because the younger generation has a saying, if you're connected to everyone, you're really connected to no one. The next thing we need to let go of to find peace of mind, so we can live out our golden years in true happiness, is letting go of empty titles. Everyone needs their honor. A Nama reputation is something everyone values and cherishes, but it has to be a real reputation. For example, if you're working and you're the principal of a school, yeah, that's a real title. Or if you're a senator, well, okay, that's a real title too. But then, many of you reach retirement age, your senior years, and every time you tell a story, you proudly list out dozens of different titles. Just empty titles with no substance. Like honorary member of this business association, or head of the advisory board for that council. Goodness, I often wonder what those titles are. Even for, what do they actually mean? What good do they actually do for the world? You probably can't even say, yet you still cling to them. Some of you even go and print business cards. You're up there in age, but you're still handing out business cards. The young designers ask, "Sir, could you maybe leave out a few titles? Because there's literally no more room on the card for us to print them all. It's always former this and former that." Even though they're no longer in power or holding office. Former election manager, former minister of justice. It's so exhausting. So please, let them go to unburden your heart. Go back to what? Just being a regular Joe. Go back to being a husband, a father. Go back to being a dad. Just be a citizen. A citizen in your local neighborhood. It's better that way. And what do you become? Just a decent human being. That's all. I'm just a decent citizen of, double quotes, this area or that neighborhood. When people ask, where do you live? What did you used to do? Oh, I did a lot of things back then, but never mind all that. Nowadays, I'm just a regular neighbor living on this street or in that ward, in this district or that one. And that's it. That's what a real identity is. Don't try to hoard those empty titles. Empty titles. Those hollow titles are just like, it's like junk files that make our computer run slow. Or our phone, it gets bogged down. An empty reputation is just like going everywhere and raising our camera to take pictures. But we don't know how to filter the photos, don't know how to choose them, and don't know how to delete any. In the end, there are thousands of pictures in the phone or on the computer, and it's so weighed down. But ultimately, the photos that are truly beautiful and impressive are very few. Right. You just raise it up and snap away, click, 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 taking dozens of pictures and then just leaving them all there. So you have to let go of that empty reputation. That's something we have to filter out. And the last thing, I think, is to forgive. First and foremost, forgive yourself. Forgive the mistakes of your wife and children, of your husband and children, of your loved ones. Everyone makes mistakes. In life, we are not saints, so we can't be morally perfect so that we never, ever commit a single mistake. We've all slipped up one way or another. We've all made a misstep here and there. There was a time when we got sucked into the casino, and in the end, well, losing caused turmoil in the family with our wife and kids. There was also a time my wife strayed. She had a relationship on the side, and although it wasn't anything too serious, it still caused me pain. My kid, there was a time he was just fooling around, and he got into a fight and was called down to the ward. Police station. I also had to go show my face down there for him and bring him home to be disciplined. All of those things will mean nothing. They'll become absolutely nothing when we leave this life. So what's the point of holding on to them? Just forgive yourself. No one else is judging you. Hey, I'm still a good person. It's true that people make mistakes sometimes, and sometimes we have our issues. But oh well, now, so let's put all that aside. Let me share something with all of you folks. It goes something like this. If you pay attention, you'll notice that today, the logo of that computer company, Apple, is an apple, right? A regular apple with a bite taken out of it, and people always ask why it's so strange. For such a big American company, why couldn't they design a more beautiful logo? There's no shortage of beautiful apples, so why not make it whole instead of using a apple? Well, their philosophy is actually this. In life, nothing is ever complete. Nothing is ever 100% perfect. Even the sun has spots, and even gods can have flaws. So, don't be too much of a perfectionist. Don't wish for something to be absolutely flawless. We human beings are also full of flaws, and sometimes we aren't quite whole ourselves. But as time goes by, we have to learn to let go of those things. Remember, let go for your own sake. Forgive yourself and your loved ones so that you can feel that life is much more meaningful. Yes, a journey is coming to an end, approaching its final station. How do we ensure that when we step into that station, our two hands are truly clean and pure, so that no matter how security inspects you, they won't find anything wrong or any violation that you have to leave behind? We can then step confidently into a new space, a different realm. Therefore, to make the passage smooth, peaceful, and easy, go through that security gate with clean hands and the lightest possible luggage. To achieve that, you must let go of the things I just mentioned. I hope that my sharing has given you all some time and an opportunity to reflect on your own lives a little. If you are still holding on to something, feeling guilty, resentful, or upset about anything, please resolve it. Let your hearts become lighter. The sky is still ahead of you. Life must always move forward. Thank you all so very much for joining our channel and for sharing in these lessons. Or rather, for being part of my conversation with all of you. There are many other talks to come. I hope you all will continue to show your support and join me on this journey. If you are still holding on to something, still feeling guilty, if you're feeling angry or upset about something, try to let it go. Release those feelings so your heart can feel lighter. There is still a bright sky waiting ahead. Life goes on, and we must keep moving forward.